to do some remodeling in this laundry room. I've already kind of started. I didn't like the way that the cabinets didn't go to the ceiling, so I just added a quick piece of MDF to the top. And I'll talk about that later in some crown. But really what I'm going to be getting ready to do is paint these cabinets. It's really nice, they're cherry, but it's dark and it really makes this laundry room a little darker than we want it to be. So we're going to be doing a few things here. But anyway, one of the first things I need to do, because before we paint, is I'm going to be preparing for new handles. So these are the handles that came on everything in our house when we bought it, and we just don't like them for a number of reasons. One, they catch our clothes when we're on the drawer faces. They catch our pockets and they rip our clothes, but two, it's just not what we want to see. So we're going to be taking those off, and we're going to be placing them with this small black egg-shaped knob here. But that's going to leave us with a hole in all of our cabinet doors that have to be fixed, as well as down in our drawer fronts, we're going to put this little cup pull on. And obviously it's going to be down like this, so it's going to leave us a couple holes. So before we paint, I'm going to have to come up with a really good way of filling these in. And the way I've chosen to do it, I'm sure there's a lot of different ways to do it, but I love using bondo. So this is just automotive body filler, just like you would find anywhere else, for fixing all the dents in your car. You can get it at Lowe's, Home Depot. It's readily available. And beware of the smell. It smells really strong. So anyway, I find this is a great little filler for lots of different things. So it just comes, it's gray. You just mix it up a little bit. And I only mix up a little bit at a time. I take maybe about this much with my putty knife. I just use a piece of cardboard so that it's disposable. And I'll cover this up to keep the smell down here in the laundry room. Then it comes with this little tube of hardener. If you just put this bondo in these holes, it'll never do anything. So you've got to mix with hardener. And before you squeeze your hardener out onto the cardboard, I always kind of mix the tube up a little bit. Otherwise, what you can get if it's been sitting a little while, it'll just run out. You'll have a bunch of runny liquid come out of the hardener that doesn't do you any good. Then what I do is I just come over here and I squeeze a little bit of the hardener out. I don't add it to this. This way I can just use it as I want it. The more hardener you put into the bondo, the faster it goes off. So I'm just gonna grab this piece up here. I'm gonna go like this. I'm just gonna come over here and grab a little bit of that hardener. We're gonna mix it in. You'll see that the bondo will turn red because that's the color of the hardener, and it's just a little pigment that they add in there so that you can tell whether or not you've got your mixture done right. If you have gray and red swirls, then you know it's not done right. The more hardener you put in it, and the harder it is outside, the hotter the bondo is when you're working with it, the faster it'll go off. And the cooler it is, the same, the slower it goes off. So you can put a lot less hardener in than this and have a lot more working time. But that's mixed up pretty good right there. And all we're gonna do there is we're gonna take this, we're gonna put on that hole, we're gonna keep forcing it down into that hole, that cabinet, just like this. And it may take a couple times to get it exactly how we want it. Then we're gonna come back over here and we're gonna do the same thing to the back side of this cabinet. And then we won't get it perfect the first time. We just keep working that bondo down into that hole. The back, I probably won't ever mess with that again. I'll probably leave it like that. You can see that as I was pushing the back out, a little bit came out the front. Totally fine, not a big deal. I'm just gonna clean off some of this other stuff here and go like that. And then we'll let that harden. Once you have the bondo on the end of your knife, I like to use a straight razor blade. So I just gotta grab a pack of these straight razor blades. And I'll use it to clean off my knife. One of the things about bondo is that you'll start to, the more you use it, the more you'll get familiar with when it's setting up. I just use it to clean up my knife. I'll actually use it to apply a little bit more bondo sometimes too, because it's a thinner blade than that putty knife. So if you ever have a spot on one of your cabinets and you don't like exactly how smooth it is, you can just use your knife, just like this, and you can always just come in here like that. It also applies a pretty smooth application of the bondo to the hole. I don't have much bondo on there. Get a little bit more bondo to do that, but. This batch that I just mixed up is starting to set up a little bit. So we'll leave that hole just like that. And I just stick that knife in there. To clean up your knife, your tool, whatever else you have, I just use a paper towel. I have a can of acetone. Just get a little bit of acetone on your paper towel. And then just clean your tool right up. Take everything right off. You don't have to worry about it anymore. Acetone also has a very strong smell, just like bondo. If you're in a tight space, I recommend having some good ventilation in that room. So we're gonna let this harden up, and we'll know when it hardens up, it'll start to turn kind of rubbery. You can kind of see this right here, it's kind of turned rubbery. It's no longer smooth. It's not even sticking to my finger anymore. And at this point, you can come in with a razor blade, a putty knife, or anything else that you want. You can start to work with it a little bit before it gets rock hard, and it will dry rock hard. So you can take a razor blade if you want, and I could come right here. I could just slice that piece right off, and any of the other residue on the cabinet, have a nice, smooth, easy spot that's filled in. Super smooth, and you can see this is not quite hard yet, but it's getting there. I can still kind of cut it and maneuver it with a knife, but it's not sticky like the paste was just minutes ago. If you have any residue like this on the cabinet, little spots, really don't worry about it. It will show up when you paint, so we're gonna have to remove it. But you know, you can take a knife, you can take the putty knife now that it's kind of in this little rubbery stage. You can kind of rub it like this, but when we do the prep on the cabinets, we'll also remove that off so it's not all that vital. Most important thing is that we've gotten rid of that hole, so that when we do paint this cabinet and put the new hardware on, that we're not stuck with a big hole in our cabinet. Anyway, that's bondo. I use it for filling in a lot of different things, but that's what we're gonna use it for today, for filling in the cabinets. And then stay tuned, this laundry room is my next project that I'm gonna be finishing up. So the next thing we're gonna do is I'm gonna show everybody how I paint cabinets. And I also did new base and crown in here because we replaced the floor. So we'll go ahead and just do it piece by piece with this laundry room project. And if you have any questions, feel free to comment. Follow me on Instagram. It's just buildwithbc. Anyway, appreciate it. Thanks. Bye.